When you choose a partner, it's got to be more than just being attracted to someone or liking someone. You've got to really take a look at their qualities and how compatible they are with your qualities. And this doesn't mean you're going to be the exact same. For example, one of your qualities may be that you're very optimistic, and one of theirs is that they're very motivated. And maybe you're not that motivated, maybe they're not that optimistic. But because of your partnership together, that's going to change. Something very important to note is, let's have a look. Say this is you and you're an 8 out of 10, if we're numbering it on the scale of optimism. And let's have a look at them, and let's say that with them, they're more like a 2 or 3 out of 10 on the scale of optimism. So you may think that when you're around them, you can show them how to be an 8. But really what happens is you're going to mix. So when you've been together for a while and you share conversations and you give your perspective on something and they give their perspective on something, and this happens over and over, time and time again, over days, weeks, months, and then years, what happens is you kind of merge. So you're going to merge, let's say right around 5, split the difference. So for them, they may be thinking, wow, I've never been so optimistic in my whole life. This is wonderful. Thanks so much. But for you, if this was important to you and they were at that much of a difference than you may be thinking, I'm miserable. This is not optimistic at all. I need to get back to where I was. So you really have to look at how compatible you are on the things that are most important to you. See, because if you had started at an 8 and you met someone who started at a 7, you probably wouldn't even really notice when you merge. You're just still happy. So the other one that we were looking at, though, is motivation. So let's say if they're super motivated every day and you're not, you're kind of feeling like, I'm just happy where I'm at and everything's going to work out, and well, trust that if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But they say, let's go out and get it. Let's do it. Let's start something. That is actually a really good motivation. Now they and you over time are going to mix again to right around the middle mark. But it may be that their drive and their motivation has already caused them to achieve in their life, in our later years, everything they really wanted to achieve. So even though their motivation for themselves is lower, their motivation has been put into increasing yours. That's actually what is getting their happiness fulfilled. And for you, you may have been putting things off or procrastinated, or it just wasn't the right time. And because of them and their attention on you, you become so much more motivated. And that becomes something that you can both share together as a goal that you may have didn't even announce or expect that it would happen, but just because of who you were and the mixing of you two together, that goal became a reality. And it's because of that partnership. So that partnership made both of you, maybe that person without you would have been bored. They're fulfilled everything in their life. Or maybe they would have poured into someone who really didn't want to be motivated at all. But if you have that exchange and you've accepted that motivation and use that energy, then your life and their life have become better because of the partnership, as opposed to being alone or as opposed to being with someone else. So we'll look at things like trust, motivation, optimism, as we talked about, confidence, and then overall happiness. And the more compatible that you are in the beginning, the less of a change there's going to be. The more compatible, meaning, say if you're both down at a 2 on a certain thing, say neither of you trust anyone, that's actually going to work for both of you. I mean, it's not ideal, but partnerships are a reflection of us, not necessarily the best thing possible. But if neither of you trust anyone, maybe you won't trust yourself either. That's kind of where it's going to be, unless you both decide to grow together. And none of this is 100% set in stone. There may be things that happen in your life, certain outside circumstances that cause you both to change in a big way. And as long as you're growing and changing together, say that you've discovered something and it elevates you to a certain point during the relationship. If they, while you're elevating, maybe it wasn't that fast, if they, while you're elevating, are fighting with you and saying, hey, you need to come back down here, you need to not do that, that is going to bring you down. But if you are then going up, it's also going to bring them up, and you can grow together. One last thing, what we call our differences makes a difference. Let's move these two out of the way here for a minute. And so when you meet, we're using things like optimism, confidence, all these positive words. But when you meet, say that you consider yourself very easygoing and they consider themselves really responsible. But neither of you, maybe you have a thing, oh, don't let anyone change you. I don't want anyone to change me. So neither of you want to change, because to you, that person, if they say, you shouldn't be so irresponsible, and you say, well, you shouldn't be so uptight, what are you calling these things? Because nobody really says, you know what, I'm going to be really irresponsible. Or nobody says, I'm so uptight. They're going to use the positive. So if you don't see it as a positive, you're not going to. You're going to go kicking and screaming. You're not going to want to become more like them. But if, say, you do have someone who is responsible with, say, their finances, and they have lots of savings and investments, and they work and, they put aside and think about the future, but they never have fun in the present. And then say that there's you with the easygoing, also let's look at financial, and you will spontaneously go out to the beach and have a great day. You'll put off work for another day, maybe put off your big goals, but you have a lot of fun in the present. But in the future, you're not really set up. So this partnership would actually be great if you both decide that you want to be more responsible and your partner wants to be more easygoing. Then with this partnership in the realm of financial and present and future, you're going to be more set up for the future because of this partnership, and they're going to be able to enjoy life more in the present with you because of this partnership. There's a lot of different things you can look at, but it's great to stay aware, and it's always great to communicate. Thank you so much.